Free will is obviously not a big factor in this little world of ours.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most underappreciated and undervalued science fiction movies.
The last man, alone with God.
Number 20, Pitch Black.
Paris P. Ogilvy, antiquities dealer, entrepreneur.
Richard B. Riddick, escaped convict, murderer.
The movie that started a franchise, Pitch Black is widely remembered for introducing the world to the beloved anti-hero Riddick. But in the process, many people seem to forget that the movie itself is actually quite good. Of course, Riddick is an intense character with complex motivations, and watching him scheme and interact with the crew of the Hunter Gratzner is always captivating. Watching the movie today, you can really see why he was the breakout star. The movie also has a fun premise with the night aliens, and cinematographer David Egby shoots the heck out of it, with a desaturated color palette, dynamic camera angles, and a brilliant use of shadows.
All you people are so scared of me. Most days I take that as a compliment. But it ain't me you gotta worry about.
Number 19, The Endless.
You want to die over and over and over and live your life on repeat from here to eternity.
You act like it's crazy, like I'm the first person in history that actually wants to live forever.
This movie belongs to creative partners Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. They both directed, edited, and starred in the film, while Benson wrote the screenplay and Moorhead provided the cinematography. It's amazing what just two guys managed to accomplish, and on a shoestring budget at that. The Endless explores concepts of existential horror and uses some low-budget ingenuity to make its world feel expansive and ominous. It is also incredibly effective at building a sense of unease through its atmosphere, with slow-burning pacing, fun production design, and a delightfully eerie tone that blends David Lynch with H.P. Lovecraft. Fans of those two owe it to themselves to check it out.
There is something bigger than us out here. And now that you're both at an age where you can understand it, it'll become evident.
Number 18, Dark City.
I got a better one for you. When was the last time you remember doing something during the day?
Do you like The Matrix? Well, then you'll probably love Dark City. It shares many similarities with the Wachowskis' masterpiece, like profound philosophical themes about the nature of identity, memory, and reality. These themes are woven seamlessly into the captivating narrative, which sees amnesiac John Murdoch being suspected of murder. But the real star of the show is the movie's atmosphere. The production design expertly employs retrofuturism, mixing elements of sci-fi with 1940s film noir, with stark lighting, deep shadows, and high-contrast cinematography. Meanwhile, the distorted architecture and exaggerated perspectives evoke the classic German expressionist films of the 1920s. Both elements combine to create a very surreal tone that sticks in the mind and never leaves.
First, there was darkness. Then came the strangers. They abducted us and brought us here. This city, everyone in it, is their experiment.
Number 17, Ad Astra.
So many times in my life I've screwed up. I've talked when I should have listened. I've been harsh when I should have been tender.
This movie sort of came and went in the fall of 2019, grossing $135 million and earning 1 Oscar nomination. For our money, it deserves much more respect. Ad Astra is a film that explores deeply human themes through the lens of space exploration, like emotional isolation, the endless search for purpose, and the undying bond between father and son. Luckily, you're treated to some breathtaking visuals while you ponder these difficult questions. The cinematography from Hoyte van Hoytema is out of this world good, and the minimalist production design provides an authenticity to the story and settings. Plus, Brad Pitt, you can't go wrong.
What do I expect? In the end, the son suffers the sins of the father.
Number 16, A Scanner Darkly.
I hope it sees clearly because I can't any longer see into myself. I see only Mark. I hope for everyone's sake the scanners do better. Because if the scanner sees only darkly the way I do, then I'm cursed, and cursed again.
Much has been written about this movie's use of rotoscoping, which we understand can be divisive and likely led to the movie's underperformance. It's distinctly unique, and it gives the film a highly stylized, almost hallucinatory aesthetic. But even if you don't like the visuals, you should stay for the story. It's a faithful adaptation of Philip K. Dick's novel, preserving its unique drug-induced narrative structure and bizarre dialogue. It also tackles heavy philosophical themes that are prevalent in dystopian fiction, like the loss of identity in the midst of governmental overreach. And with a story about mass surveillance and a drug epidemic, it seems grossly ahead of its time.
Now in the dark world where I dwell, ugly things and surprising things, and sometimes little wondrous things, spill out at me constantly. And I can count on nothing.
Number 15, Crimes of the Future.
What do you see? I can feel you pulling things around in there.
David Cronenberg is the master of the body horror genre, and he carried his grotesque work into the 2020s with Crimes of the Future. This was Cronenberg's first movie in 8 years and his first horror film in 23, and what a comeback it was. Crimes of the Future explores a world where humans have evolved to develop new organs and mutations, turning surgery into performance art. As you can imagine, the disgusting body horror is at an all-time high. The movie also comes equipped with a stunning atmosphere and some thought-provoking themes centered around evolution and our often troubling relationship with technology. Oh, how we missed you, Cronenberg.
Or what about infections? Infections, what happened to them? Nobody washes their hands anymore. Or what is it? What is that new fad? What do they call it? Desktop surgery in public. It's repulsive.
Number 14, Enemy Mine.
Hey, Drac. Drac, drogo nouveau te nouveau zirki. Forget it.
If you like more pulpy science fiction, then you need to check out a little movie from 1985 called Enemy Mine. It's about a man and an alien overcoming their differences and working together to survive on a volcanic planet. And considering this was released in '85, the Cold War parallels are obvious. Not only does the story make for great pulpy entertainment, but the production design is immaculate. The filmmakers created a believable alien world using practical sets, matte paintings, and miniatures, and the intricate makeup work on the reptilian Drax is easily one of the film's highlights. But despite the movie's many strengths, it grossed only $12 million on a $29 million budget and was quickly forgotten.
You saved my life. Why?
Maybe I need to look at another face, even as ugly as yours.
Number 13, The 13th Floor.
How many simulated worlds like this are there?
Thousands. But yours is the only one that ever created a simulation within the simulation. Something that we never could have expected.
This is one of those movies in which the professional critics and general audiences vehemently disagree. The 13th Floor did not receive good reviews, with many critics calling out its bad script and messy storytelling. The film also has a ton of strong qualities that have made it a cult favorite among sci-fi enthusiasts. Like another prominent movie released in 1999, the film uses a virtual world to delve into deep philosophical questions about reality, consciousness, and the nature of existence. The cast also delivers solid performances. It has a unique aesthetic with a noir-inspired atmosphere, and for its time, the visual effects were quite impressive. Don't write this one off.
I know the truth.
Where are you?
You could call it the end of the world.
Number 12, 2010, the year we make contact.
Will I dream?
Of course you will dream. All intelligent creatures dream. Nobody knows why. Perhaps you will dream of how. Just as I often do.
This sequel to Stanley Kubrick's classic 2001: A Space Odyssey is likewise based on Arthur C. Clarke's writing, but doesn't get nearly as much attention as it deserves. We know that sequels are often terrible, but this is definitely an exception to the rule. American and Russian astronauts head to Jupiter trying to understand what happened to the first ship that attempted the mission and what went wrong with sentient computer HAL. Not only is the film well acted, action-packed, and beautifully filmed, but it tackles a lot of mysteries that the original left conspicuously unanswered.
Do you know why Hal did what he did?
Yes, it wasn't his fault.
Whose fault was it?
Yours.
Number 11, Primer.
Man, are you hungry? I haven't eaten since later this afternoon.
This micro-budgeted movie is a complicated film that puts a lot of faith in its audience's intelligence. The premise is simple enough. Two guys build a time machine and try to use it to make money, but it becomes very complex in the telling. Primer delves deeply into all the classic time travel issues, like what happens if you change something in the past or if you run into yourself in another time. Like we said, the movie, written by a former engineer, doesn't dumb things down. And while it's a complex watch, it's worth it. If we could travel to the future, we would certainly find that Primer goes down in history as a classic.
I'm not gonna pretend like I know anything, okay, about paradoxes, or what follows them. And honestly, I really don't believe in any of that crap anyways. I mean, kill your mom before you're born, whatever. It has to work itself out somehow.
Number 10, Heavy Metal.
And he's never done anything illegal.
Unless you count all the times he sold dope disguised as a nun.
It may be an animated film, but it certainly wasn't made for kids. Heavy Metal features several different storylines, all set in different times and places, linked only by the ever-present Loch Nar, a physical manifestation of evil. They're also linked by their use of, you guessed it, heavy metal music by some of the biggest acts of the time, including Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult, and Sammy Hagar. Though this anthology film received mixed reviews at the time of its release, it has since developed a cult following. We figure that's at least in part thanks to its extreme violence, nudity, and sexuality.
You know, even though she would have killed me, I kind of felt sorry for her. She was okay. Just a little greedy. As for me, I put it down as a 2-day ride, with one hell of a tip.
Number 9. Mr. Nobody.
Daddy says you can predict exactly where Mars will be in the sky, even in 100 years. But the funny thing is that Daddy doesn't know what will happen to him 2 minutes from now.
This artistic drama combines a great story with fascinating ideas and excellent cinematography. Not to mention Jared Leto's stunning performance as Nemo Nobody, the last mortal human in the world. In a world where science has eradicated death and old age, Nemo fascinates the immortal humans that surround him. And why not? He's a man with a past that is contradictory and jumbled. The movie was a bust at the box office, but has been steadily gaining viewership ever since, and not just among immortals. A story about choices and time emotionally weaved together by great acting and effects.
I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid I haven't been alive enough.
Number 8. Silent Running.
Hey, now, what's the big deal? I can't see the difference between that and this anyway.
You don't see the difference? The difference is that I grew it. That's what the difference is. That I picked it and I fixed it. And it has a taste and it has some color.
Imagine a live-action version of WALL-E made for adults and you've got something pretty close to Silent Running. In the film, plant life can no longer grow on Earth and the last samples are now housed in spacecraft orbiting Saturn. What happens when the crew, including botanist Freeman Lowell, are ordered to destroy the last remaining greenhouses in order to make room for standard cargo? Freeman disobeys, of course, and teams up with 3 drones named Huey, Dewey, and Louie to protect the last forest at all costs. Okay, we know that environmental destruction is a common theme in science fiction, but rarely is it presented as compellingly as it is in this movie.
Until that day, may God bless these gardens and the brave men who care for them.
Number 7. Equilibrium.
We both know they never go easy.
Then I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You don't even know the meaning. It's just a vestigial word for a feeling you've never felt.
Emotion and art are so threatening to the leaders of society in Equilibrium that they're illegal. Taking no chances, the leaders also force citizens to take drugs that suppress all feelings and artistic impulses. That may sound a little familiar, but it's presented in a totally absorbing manner. The cinematography and the production design are key, creating a dark, unsettling ambiance for this dystopian vision of humanity's future. Not only that, the stylized fight scenes combine gun work with martial arts to create truly impressive action sequences. There's also an adorable puppy. You can't ask for more.
It's circular. You exist to continue your existence. What's the point?
What's the point of your existence?
To feel.
Number 6. Strange Days.
Memories were meant to fade, Lenny. They're designed that way for a reason.
Strange is a good word to describe this film's combination of rock and roll, cyberpunk, and odd drug addictions. But as it's directed by Catherine Bigelow with some writing, production, and editing work by her ex-husband James Cameron, it's strange in a fascinating, artistic, entertaining way. Ralph Fiennes plays a small-time criminal who records people's memories and sells them on the black market, but he gets in trouble when he picks up the memories of various murders. What follows is simply mesmerizing. Don't be put off because it didn't do so well in theaters. Strange Days is definitely worth your time.
I can't believe you had to give them the damn tape.
Yeah, me neither. It was one of my favorites. Me and Faith in the hot tub on my birthday.
Number 5. High Life.
Those random images. Maybe they were programmed to keep us on a leash. Make us believe a return was possible.
This film from French director Claire Denis is quite challenging, so it's easy to see why it never attained a huge audience. But those looking for more complex science fiction found a ton to enjoy with High Life. The story's captivating but quite untraditional. With morally ambiguous characters, a raw approach to taboo subjects, and non-linear storytelling, it asks a lot of its viewers. but those willing to put in the work are richly rewarded. Luckily, you can also enjoy High Life as a surface-level sci-fi flick, as Denis uses lush cinematography and minimalist production design to create an awe-inspiring visual treat that evokes intense feelings of cosmic dread.
We were at the halfway point. 4 more years to our destination. We had to begin the deceleration maneuver so the ship could approach a black hole. One of the closest in our galaxy.
Number 4. eXistenZ.
So how does it feel?
What?
Your real life. The one you came back for.
It feels completely unreal.
David Cronenberg strikes again with this virtual reality film, but it's certainly not just another virtual reality film. The use of nightmare-fuel organic material like bioports and guns made out of bone and flesh make it a truly creepy and thought-provoking movie. The characters in this near-future setting voluntarily use bioports to enter a virtual world, but once there, they slowly lose their grasp of reality. The plot masterfully uses its imagery to tackle ideas of consciousness, the relationship between nature and science, and what it means to be human, making this twisty sci-fi an essential gamer movie.
We're both stumbling around together in this unformed world whose rules and objectives are largely unknown, seemingly indecipherable, or even possibly non-existent, always on the verge of being killed by forces that we don't understand.
That sounds like my game, all right.
Number 3. Sunshine.
Our sun is dying. Mankind faces extinction.
The sun is going out, so a team of international astronauts is sent to reignite it. The film throws all these characters into a very claustrophobic environment and forces them to deal with the sun's incredible power to both give life and to destroy. But it also focuses on how the actions of one individual can similarly decide the fate of an entire planet. The acting is great, the CGI is well done, and director Danny Boyle skillfully builds it all to a suspenseful and exhilarating climax that helps make this one a must-watch.
So if you wake up one morning and it's a particularly beautiful day, you'll know we made it.
Number 2. Gattaca.
You have specified hazel eyes, dark hair, and fair skin. I have taken the liberty of eradicating any potentially prejudicial conditions. Premature baldness, myopia, alcoholism and addictive susceptibility, propensity for violence, obesity, etc.
Coming from acclaimed screenwriter Andrew Niccol, Gattaca has a brilliant premise that instantly elevates it to the top tier of dystopian fiction. The story takes place in a future where humans are conceived through genetic selection to ensure they attain perfection, while those born outside the eugenics program face genetic discrimination. It's a wonderful idea to explore, and Niccol smartly mines its potential for all it's worth. It also comes with masterful art direction that earned an Oscar nomination. The film has a beautiful, retro-futuristic style, minimalist and symmetrical set design, and a thematic color palette that utilizes cold and warm hues to meaningful effect. Put simply, Gattaca is the perfect mix of style and substance.
I belong to a new underclass, no longer determined by social status or the color of your skin.
Welcome to Gattaca, gentlemen.
No, we now have discrimination down to a science.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Moon.
Time to go home, you know what I mean? That's it. Over and out. Rock and roll, God bless America.
Our choice for the most underrated science fiction movie will keep you on the edge of your seat, make you love the characters, and seriously mess with your head. Sam Bell has spent 3 years completing a mission alone on the moon with only a robot for company. He's all set to return home when things start going wrong. For the most part, Sam Rockwell is the only actor on screen, and he does a brilliant job at keeping the tension high and action dynamic. Like all great science fiction, Moon is an exciting adventure that sheds light on the human condition that forces you to question your sense of reality. Don't miss it.
Do you remember me?
Yeah, of course I remember you, Gertie.
That's good. That's very good.
Did we miss one of your underrated favorites? Tell us about it in the comments below.
Like, taking a shower in life. You lose yourself a little.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.